Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'm your host, Leafy Potato, and welcome to another NRTS 1v1. This match, again, played as part of the July Ground Zero tournament. It is one of the events of all time, and if you want to prove that you are the best player in the world, this is where you go. In any case, this match, brought to you by no one in particular. I'm just casting it because, as is the case for most of these games, it will be a game featuring yours truly against SunnySide, as I'm sure it is in the title somewhere. If not, it's in the description for sure. In any case, Grassland will be the map vote. And here we go. I spawn in as the red commander, Sunny as the yellow commander, immediately start up some militia. It is of my personal opinion that militia is more important than the initial farms as far as what you do first, just getting them out on the field. Of course, it doesn't help when they're not walking anywhere, but command center idle time, you can't get back. And while worker time, or worker build time, you also can't get back, like 1 or 2 seconds is a couple bucks, if that, versus militia, which are guns. They're pretty important for contesting the map, keeping your opponent from doing anything too silly. And I will just go with 3 militia in the opener. I am going to go for a vehicle depot and something nefarious. It will actually be 4 militia here. 6 farms into depot. We shall see how this goes. Just trying to poke at Sunny, prevent him from getting any sort of ridiculous build off the ground. And he is going into full militia production, so I probably will end up losing some of these farms too, but double building with my workers a vehicle depot back home. We shall, very soon after this is done, queue a jeep immediately, pretty much, actually. Workers will be going together to go and take farms, or never mind, they will be split to go take farms. Sunny notices I've got the depot, notices I've got something producing. He understands I cannot hold these farms. We'll push forward a little bit. I opt to queue a 5th militia, because the 5th militia is pretty important to not just dying. And I have my militia jeep going. So, yeah. This is going to be an interesting game. Okay, so Sunny will have much more in terms of offensive firepower. We'll go back and begin making a house too, so that's going to be just wonderful. I am looking to pick off a worker, if not a militia. And the worker was damaged from skirmishing that happened earlier, so I should get that. And I can pick right back up and then get the worker, yeah. And then I will get a militia as well. I will have a low HP jeep for the privilege, but that can be replaced if I need to. I have my workers going around. Sunny's trying to chase my militia jeep with his militia, and I'm just going to run around the map as I take yet more farms. Okay, so pressure is off of me. Sunny is not going to poke me. I've got 2 extra militia rallying around just to be a bit of a distraction, right? If he's chasing my jeep around, I can at least get some farm damage done. He does have his first house done and will begin producing yet more militia, which will be dangerous for me, but I suppose it's not that big of a problem. Selling my farms whenever he gets to them, just to get that little bit of money out of them. I believe it's $4. Yeah. Not nothing, especially when my eco is this low, right? Getting about 30 seconds of eco out of the things is pretty significant. Taking my jeep around in order to get damage on his militia, so his rallying forces won't be doing all that much. I've got a house now, so I am no longer capped at 8 militia, unless I sell a worker. At 9, I can now build up an actual force, and I can fight Sunny. So yeah, I've got forces in between his command center and the rest of his forces. He's killing my farms, I'm killing his farms. Overall, not bad for me. And I will continue producing militia back at home, just as a measure to keep Sunny in some sort of check, right? Militia are going to be the most efficient damage I can get. And yeah, so Sunny doesn't own almost any farms on the map right now, as we can see. And I have 5 militia from my command center, which will begin to poke at Sunny. I have a jeep rallying back to help out in this fight. Do need to unload my militia pretty early, otherwise I lose my jeep full of militia, and that's not good. Jeep can just take fire for the time being, pick up my militia in the back, just keep them in the front. Okay, cool, so that fight ends up going pretty well for me. I will pick up yet again, and I just want to unload a little closer to the front lines. Sunny will retreat with 5 militia. I now have more stuff on the map than he does. Great, awesome, groovy, grand. And other G words that mean cool. Although awesome does not start with a G, it starts with a G in my heart. Okay, so this Jeep is on the brink of death. It's good for keeping my workers moving, but it's not good for much else. I will get a full HP Jeep out to the front lines. Okay. So full HP Jeep will allow me to actually fight his fresh Jeep, and that's mainly the purpose of that. That low HP Jeep is not meant for fighting. Sunny trying to poke at my militia will get some damage done. We'll also get a farm, but considering he doesn't really have much of any farms, this is not terrible for me. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I will take my workers and move them somewhere else. I believe at some point I end up selling that low HP Jeep just because double-clicking on Jeeps is something I do frequently enough. That, and I needed to free some population space for another Jeep because I am currently housed yet again. Having 2 militia Jeeps out on the map will at least allow me to contest Sunny whenever he gets his second, but yeah. Here we go. A little bit of skirmishing happening here. Sunny unloads pretty fast. I have a decent surround going on. Unload before my Jeep gets picked off. He's shielding with his Jeep pretty well. I'm moving the troops that are out of the fight back into the fight. And yeah, Sunny pretty much just gets destroyed. Just great fight from me. Absolutely beautiful. This is what you want with the Jeeps, right? If there's troops that are not in the fight, you use your Jeeps to speed them up. So instead of keeping your frontline forces in your Jeeps, you want your backline forces in your Jeeps. That way you can actually bring all of your stuff to where they need to be. You can use that to surround the enemy. You can use that however you need to. Okay, my Jeep's low HP though, so I cannot be using it to fight. I have to unload if the enemy gets anywhere close to me. And again, just trying to bring up my backline troops to a point where they can fight is the purpose behind this Jeep. Sunny does have a Jeep back at home, but he doesn't have the militia to field them. So I will take the Jeep over to one of his farms, and I will take the rest of my militia over to the other farm. I have a fresh Jeep coming out now, so I can use that to load up some of my troops. Low HP Jeep will be used purely for maneuver versus the high HP Jeep, which will be used for fighting. Okay, more militia coming up on the backline after I have made my house. This is great. I will use the fact that Jeep have high HP to shoot once at, or not high HP, high range to shoot once at farm and then cry. Okay, 2 Jeeps. One of them is really low HP, but the other one is topped off, so pretty good position. I am spending my excess money right now on fresh Jeeps because fresh Jeeps means that I can actually fight Sunny. I am keeping track of the low HP Jeep, trying to keep it behind my full HP Jeep. Sunny's trying to pick off my militia. In the meanwhile, though, not having uniform move on does kind of hurt. He has to get out of his Jeep, otherwise he will just die. He picks up one of his militia, but loses another 3. Absolutely just crushing it right now. 2 low HP Jeeps aren't going to be that useful. I'm selling them for population, not for money. High HP Jeep back in business. I do have 4 militia in mine. I will take my militia body and just push forward into Sunny's just to go and confirm the kill on those guys. I will lose one of my militia for the privilege, but 2 of my militia for the privilege. Okay, so pretty much just an even trade. But they will be being replaced by higher HP militia, and I do have a 3rd house on the way. So I can continue to expand my army. Considering, though, that me and Sunny have both been just beating each other to death, there really isn't much use in extra housing right now, considering there's just so many farms on the map. It just makes more sense to spend the money on farms if the only thing you're going to be getting out of houses anyways is eco. Alright, I'm trying to cut off his militia with Jeeps as best I can, and this is a bit of a difficult fight, but I do manage to at least pick off one of his militia. I will lose a Jeep. Not the greatest execution from my end, but it's not terrible. And I will take the Jeep to go and punish an overextension. Meanwhile, Sunny is back to having 4 farms to his name as his entire economy. All I really need to do right now is keep Sunny unable to out-Jeep me. If I can keep more mobility and more damage than Sunny, then I can hold farms and he can't, and so he has to house for eco, and so my eco can scale much faster than his. Right, despite everything, in this game so far, my eco is, if it's not higher than Sunny's by much, if it's higher at all, but it's good, and I have opportunities to keep taking farms, and so that's exactly what's going to happen here. I have extra jeeps going back as troop transports at this point, right? And they're just rallying my militia back to this front as quickly as possible, so whenever I do create more militia, they are in the fight. Sunny trying to make a breakout attempt will not quite work. I have 3 jeeps on the map at this point, and yeah, I will just be using them to pretty much guarantee flanks. I will lose a militia in the process and almost lose a jeep, but almost losing a jeep doesn't count. Okay, expanding my eco, upgrading my command center, building a fresh jeep, because I'm about to have to sell one again because it's damaged. Funny thing is that jeep loading, unloading is the same key, so if you multi-select jeeps, one of them's got units, the others don't have units, then some will pick up and some will unload. But yeah, Sunny's got 6 militia to his name. Absolutely crushing fight. And so, yeah, fresh HP Jeep, moving to the front. Honestly, even just having 1 Jeep flanking his formation is a decent amount, right? I can, if not guarantee that I'm only interacting with 1 militia at a time for my enemy, like 2 or 3 pretty easily, and I can also guarantee that my fire is focused versus theirs, which is going to be shooting at a Jeep, maybe shooting at 1 militia, shooting at another, right? So my damage is killing stuff, his damage is hurting stuff, but that doesn't reduce my guns, right? Now I've got 1 worker that's just pretty freely taking farms around the map. I've got another Jeep full of militia rallying to the front now, and honestly, my main constraint at this point is just how fast militia can produce. Using my low HP Jeeps now just as troop transports. I have 1 Jeep with me at the front lines, will be 2 Jeeps with me at the front lines, intended as a force that I can use to quickly load up and flank the enemy, if nothing else. And so I have 2 Jeeps full of militia, 8 guns flanking the entire force. Granted, my front line wasn't terribly well defined, but yeah, this is a decent fight for me. Sunny's still struggling to expand. He has been making houses as his only form of eco, really, and now I'm definitely ahead in terms of eco. I'm definitely ahead in terms of army. He is trying to make a breakout attempt. He's got a tower right now, which is good for him. It prevents his outer layer of houses from just getting jeeped to death, but yeah, I mean, this is just a crushing position. The only thing I have to do is not die. Right, he's got a Jeep full of militia. I will have to respond to that with 2 Jeeps if I want to just not die. He'll try to get out here, but I've got my units in a decent position. Got another Jeep that I can use to rally around. I did use it to move a worker, and yeah, I've got recons coming out now. This is mainly just because the majority of his fighting force is just militia, right? Recons can help punish that pretty effectively. And they're also low population, so I can spend more money if I'm expanding eco. I can spend that money on farms instead of needing to spend it on housing. And I'm taking a fight here. The command center is getting in on the action, which isn't great, but yeah. Okay, so I have been out jeeped. Oh no, but the rest of his army is pretty much just gonna die here. Yeah, it takes a bad fight. And that's going to be that. I've got recons now that can intercept this Jeep. Sunny's entire army, basically, has been decimated at least twice at this point. And sure, 1 recon does not beat a Jeep full of militia, but 4 recons does. And so, while the Jeep is faster, it just can't contest the recons where they are. And so, has to respect me wherever I am. And the recons are fast enough that I can guard 1 or 2 chokes. Sunny's sailing a Jeep in order to replace it. Will replace it with a fresh one, but I've already got a battle line of militia formed up. And while this might look okay-ish for him, again, wherever my recons are, he kind of just can't fight. And I've got 3 recons shooting at his militias and his Jeep, and yeah, now this 4 militia group over here is pretty much left for dead. Will be rallied back with the rest of his force, but that's not really going to stop my recons from chewing into him. Now, I do have one that's just sitting away, not doing anything. That's not great, but I do have a hospital. And provided I'm not losing any troops, my recons are just going to continue onward. Okay, so I've got 161 eco, and I'm about to basically supercharge that by having healing. My opponent doesn't have any, and he doesn't have many units to take advantage of that. This is really good for me. I'm going to start building static defense as well, just to restrict the mobility. Keeping the recon, or I had the recons kept at the flank, but that was mainly just to prevent the militia from charging while I had my hospital up. I've got pretty much full HP recons now. I'm just farming HP. My goal now is to just repeatedly, since there isn't much static defense, just repeatedly chip away at some of these militia, repeatedly chip away at some of the housing, and then just heal, right? So long as I'm not losing guns, I can continue dealing more and more and more damage with time. I will just go ahead and upgrade my vehicle depot on the back of this as well. I see now that he's got an air pad. Sunny has an air pad, so he's trying to contest my farms across the map. That is one way that he could get back into this game. I will just make my air pad in kind and play chopper v chopper. He's going to be ahead by about 2, but I've got a higher. I've got more mobility, right? Or more freedom of maneuver. Not more maneuver, just freedom of maneuver, right? He's kind of stuck. I've got an army chewing off like one avenue of approach for him, and I can pretty easily chew off the other one. So while he might end up having more choppers for the time being, the fact that he has to maneuver in very specific ways still lets me go and take farms, right? The farms near purple are pretty much free to me, because if Sunny were to send any of his choppers over there, I'd pretty much just win. Okay. And in fact, he had been stalling his chopper production for long enough that I'm only going to be behind about 1 chopper, not even. And I will take my 4 recon group just to chew away at his militia some more, because his militia are really the only things keeping his front line intact. I'm just trying to spread the damage as well as I can among these different recons. I do a decent enough job, we'll get them back to the hospital, and I can farm more HP. Sunny does lose a chopper in the middle of the map here, just wasn't paying that much attention to it. It was chewing away at a farm. And that's it. He sells. GG. One hell of a game. One hell of a game. This is why Militia Jeep is meta, if you were wondering. In any case, if you've watched all the way from the beginning, thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed this cast, and the rare leafy W. I know I have L in my name and not W, but maybe I'll have to change that to Weefy Potato style. In any case, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and while you're at it, you could make my rest of my day wonderful by commenting what your favorite ice cream flavor is. Me? A good mint chocolate chip is better than basically anything, but Turtle Tracks is awesome. Anyways, stay classy. That's it. There's like nothing else. I mean, I was supposed to do that at the end, but like this whole part's going in the video anyways. If you're hearing this, you're cool, and yeah, thanks. Anyways, bye.